everyone. I'm so excited to have you here tonight. I'm Dr. Isabel Springer. I am a marriage and relationship therapist here in Gainesville, and I'm also the founder of Love Ed. And Love Ed is a self-improvement organization. We create dog kennels, and dog food, and so that's why our friends are here. We create, here at Love Ed, we create programs and services to help people learn to love themselves and others. And so let's get started. During the first 6 to 12 months of any relationship, it's just pure infatuation. And so in our culture, we tend to confuse infatuation with love because infatuation is just it's supercharged, it's a biophysiological force and we feel so out of control. It's like we are on love drugs, right? And it's a really, really exciting time. But in our culture, we tend to talk about the first year of being with somebody. We are making decisions about someone in that first year without knowing who they really are. So infatuation is really a time where infatuation brings us together. That's what it's supposed to, that's initially what it's all about. So we can meet each other, right? So without that, it just kind of kickstarts the opportunity to then discover and explore a potential relationship. But in our culture, we romanticize all of that, right? And we are really super excited about it. So we start to talk about it in terms of, oh my God, I'm so in love, right? And we start to identify all of those strong feelings that we have for someone as feeling in love. But we're really just feeling infatuation. So I like people to really get the distinction that infatuation is not love. Because when we start to say that, we start to set ourselves up for making emotional commitments to someone without really knowing who they really are yet. And this is the cause for the divorce rate. The divorce rate is really crazy, and it's because, and getting married even a second and a third time. So the first divorce is over 50%. The second time that we get divorced, it's over 60%. And then getting divorced a third time is 70%. And so the reason is we keep making decisions and telling ourselves and other people that we're in love. And we start to identify ourselves in that way. We become overly committed. We're on this love train, so to speak. It's, running out of control, and we're lost in the relationship. And so we just really need to be mindful that infatuation is really, really fun, but we don't want to be thinking about identifying it as being in love. We can start to really think about the idea of being in love after infatuation subsides. So for example, the first year is infatuation. And so when we first meet someone, it ramps up. We're super excited. But then over the course of knowing them for a year, we start to get more emotionally secure. We start to feel more and more emotionally secure as the months go by, right? And it's really fun and it's exciting. And then it starts to dissipate naturally as it should. And we shouldn't misinterpret that infatuation subsiding, because it's when a relationship is going to start to now get real. And we're looking forward to that because we're needing to identify whether or not this person that we've met is really somebody that is good for us. So we can't really know if they're good for us during the first year fully. We have to wait till that infatuation subsides, the love drugs settle down, and we start to be able to see behavior in someone. So it's from year 1 to year 2. We're looking for emotional maturity. So this is how we feel loved in a relationship. This is when we start to consider the possibility of giving someone our heart. We're looking for behaviors that match up, that have us feeling, that somebody's being respectful, they're consistent, they're truthful, they're trustworthy, they have a job. Hopefully. Yeah, so when infatuation starts to subside, we should really still feel an attraction toward our partner, because romantic attraction is really important in a relationship. So if we still feel that desire after infatuation concludes as a stage, then that means we have really great, healthy, strong, significant romantic attraction. And that absolutely has to be there, because it's another area of our love relationships that are really important, and it's the way that we also experience love, right? But we're looking for emotional maturity. We're looking for emotional maturity because that is how we feel love. So when we're with someone and we experience them consistently being this person who's kind and loving and supportive and emotionally mature in the way that they handle and react to, breakdowns in life. Things happen, stuff gets, blows up, and it's like, how are they managing that? Do they fall apart? Are they throwing tantrums? Are they reactionary? Are they defensive all the time? Like, what's going on? So you can't really identify any of that until infatuation has subsided. So then when you're with someone, after infatuation, and then you consistently experience them in this way, and then you also feel a really significant amount of romantic attraction is still there, it's actually the emotional maturity that holds the romantic attraction to keep going. So when people talk about, Teresa, can you grab that? Thanks. When people talk about, I feel like I've been in love, with my partner, and that my love for them has grown, over time, and I feel more and more attracted to them, and gosh, we've been together for 20, 30 years. What they're saying is, it's not that romantic attraction is growing, it's that emotional maturity has been holding up that initial attraction throughout the course of the relationship. So you're falling in love with emotional maturity. So, like I said before, the divorce rate and why people are struggling relationships, it's why I have a full practice as a marriage and relationship therapist, because we keep falling down into the same hole. Saying to ourselves and other people that we're in love during that first year, instead of saying, I'm just so infatuated. And, the jury is not out yet, right? You're going to honor yourself in a way that you're not just going to give your heart to anybody. Even though you're having an awesome time in that first year, they're really hot, sex is great, it's just like there's lots of passion and newness and fun and activities and all of this. You were waiting to discover who they are after that first year. And then you'll really see what you got. And then a lot of relationships end around year 2 because the infatuation is completely gone, and then you've been experiencing this person consistently being an asshole. And it's like, right? So you owe it to yourself to get really clear about all of that stuff. Sex is like food. It's like not negotiable for most people. Maybe when you're maybe 90 or 100, for you it's not food anymore, right? But when you're younger, say 80 and below, most people are still interested in having that passion and that connection and great sex and all of that. And so it's really about the couple. So if you start off in a relationship, of course you're all infatuated, everything's good right there, right? You have a couple of kids maybe, some years are going by, you know, bombs are going off, you know, all kinds of changes are happening, and there's those daily struggles in life, right? And feeling sexual and connected is like kind of dissipating, you're getting kind of disconnected, and it's not really on the front line of your life anymore. You're so busy being overwhelmed by trying to make it in your life, trying to juggle a lot of plates, try to raise children, try to launch your career, you know, deal with maybe ailing parents, you know, family members that may need you in all kinds of capacities. And so, you know, all of that spontaneous, romantic peace starts to really flatline. It's really about having a conversation with your partner. And so if you're not a place anymore where you're really feeling that that's important to you, or you're interested, but they're interested and it's important to them, it's your responsibility to create something for your partner. And so what I mean by that is you cannot enter into the relationship and then, because you're tired and overwhelmed in life, and life is kind of like, you know, beat you up a little bit, that you can be irresponsible about that. That was part of the original agreement, which was to be loving and in that physical way is so important to people. And the thing about sex and physical attraction and being together in a physical way, it's really an opportunity to express the love that we have for somebody. It's the emotional intimacy piece. So it's not really about the sex. It's about using the sex to create that way of expressing how somebody really still turns you on, and how you're turned on by them, and how they are still special. So if things happen and you find in the relationship that one loses an interest but the others is still there, you know, this is just one of those areas where if there's no ownership in creating and maintaining something that's reasonable and fair, and if it's like food for you, sometimes relationships need to end. And sometimes relationships run their course. And we can't predict what's going to happen in 20, 30 years. But it is about taking ownership and responsibility for the well-being of your relationship, and taking ownership of the happiness and the contentment and the fulfillment and the connection that your partner is interested in having, because as far as I'm concerned, this is a deal breaker. But it's a very personal choice. It's really, you know, it's not a simple choice. It's complex, there's lots of layers, there's lots of history there. You know, somebody may be thinking, well, gosh, I've been with this person for so long, we had these children together, and, you know, now I'm 50, 60, 70, like, you know, nobody will ever love me again, I guess I'll just stay and just suck it up. Well, as far as I'm concerned, this is your one and only life, and if you want to suck it up, you can. You can do whatever you want. But this isn't your one and only life. So at 60, 70, 80, no matter how old you are, if you are diminishing and settling in the experience that you were hoping for your life, and it is not working out, somebody is not making it happen for you, and being in that conversation of possibilities, it would absolutely be a moment to consider the relationship being over. And there's so much fear that people have about ever meeting someone again. Will anybody ever love me? Am I going to die alone? I get that all the time. But the fact of the matter is, we were born alone and we are going to die alone. And so it's not about being in a relationship. It's about creating relationships with people. So when you are older, you are with people who love you. And you're not settling and being miserable in your older years because you fear being alone. Think more of yourself. Craft a life so when you get there, you are fully expressed in all of those years. It's really your second half, and you should be going out with a bang. Literally. If you make a connection with somebody and you're like, this person's doing it for me, right? When you get together the next time, you want to go, hey, I want to come clean. You know, I kind of fudged on my little age there because I had a little bit of a concern about maybe that would have been an issue for you, and I didn't want to rob myself of the opportunity to get to know you. And then so the second part of that was, is age a discrepancy in any relationship, right? When I think about love, I just think about emotional maturity is really what I think about, but I also think about attraction. So if you feel attracted to somebody and they have the level of emotional maturity that would be required, right, to feel really good about being with them, I don't really feel that that's an issue, unless where it becomes really an issue is when you are a younger person, right, like a young adult, and you choose somebody 20, 25, 30 years your senior. What happens is you just have to be in a really great conversation with yourself, with them, and get really clear about like what you were hoping for your life, as far as, do you want kids? You know, what are your goals and your dreams, right? So I don't think it's like a big deal to, you know, not align in terms of knowing each other's generation of music, you know, right, which shows up a lot, right? Or TV shows and all of that. It's really not about that. It's about really getting, you know, the piece about starting a family, what that would then look like, right? Does that make sense for you? You really need to be able to be really comfortable with who you are and really know for you, it's not about age, you know? It's more about who people are, who you are, and that kind of thing. And people lack emotional maturity. So emotional maturity is something that grows if you grow it. Romantic attraction doesn't grow. It's either there or it is not there. And it's either there or not on certain levels. And emotional maturity, fortunately, is that component of a love relationship that can grow if you grow it. So that's what's so exciting about emotional maturity and developing as a person. You know, and coming out here, you know, I mean, you guys aren't 18, you know, you've been around, and this is good stuff because, you know, you're reinventing yourself, you're reinventing your lives, you're not giving up on love, you're investing in yourself, you're investing in the possibility of creating something more fulfilling for your life, right? So there's something that goes into that, and really getting clear about how emotionally immature that you have been in your life in the past, right? But as we grow, we purposely create a self-awareness about our own behavior and our own level of emotional maturity. So we need to grow and evolve and develop, because those are the kinds of partners that we're looking for, right? So we have to be that partner as well. This is just such a privilege for me. It's so thrilling for me to use my voice, you know, express my ideas and my thoughts and my feelings and my stand for people. And so my commitment to the world is to have people not just unnecessarily falling down over and over and over again, giving up on love. We're recreating ourselves. We're going to be somebody when we grow up. And we're going to do that on purpose. And we're going to live our life with intention, and we're going to be fully expressed, and we're going to get to the end of our life, and we're going to reflect back, and we're going to think, okay, so that childhood was really rough. And those early years were really confusing. And I really settled in all kinds of ways, and I really didn't understand my value and my worth. But now, I'm going to do everything with intention. I'm going to heal my wounds. I'm going to take ownership of my life. I'm going to create this amazing opportunity for me to win the second half and win this entire game. And having no regrets, just having wisdom, self-respect and appreciation for the process of life and how nobody ever taught us anything and how it took years to try to figure it out. So we're going to seize this opportunity to do it, and we're going to do it big. And we're not settling in life, especially in love. That's how much you're worth. And I want to thank you for making yourself important. I really feel that. I mean, you're showing up here and you're standing up for yourself and you're standing up for love. And I'm really inspired, and I love you all so very much. Thank you so much.